Perfect. And then welcome everybody. We appreciate you all coming here and taking your time out to talk to all of us. My name is Paige Malott. I am the president of Smart Girls, and I want to thank Sonali, the vice president, for putting this all together. I guess we're just going to go around and introduce, if you guys want to do introductions of your name and your teaching experience or your teaching program to our guest speakers. So if you want to start, or I can call on someone. Okay, I'm just going to go to the person to my right, Marissa, if you can go ahead and start.
Hi everyone, I'm Marissa Katsuda. My teaching experience, I'm in my second year of teaching at Haskell STEM Academy, which is a middle school in ABC Unified. I graduated from Cal State Fullerton with my bachelor's in 2018, and then my single subject credential in 2019. Is this like popcorn style? Should I just choose someone?
Yeah, that would be perfect. You can do that. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it to Jorge.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Jorge Lina, Corral. This is my first official year teaching. I also did my undergrad in math at Cal State Fullerton. I graduated in 2019, and that spring I also started my credential there. I finished the credential just last December and jumped right into a teaching position. I was long-term subbing towards the end of that assignment. I'm teaching at the same place where I student taught. AP Statistics and Algebra 2. During my student teaching, I taught AP Calculus, Algebra 1, and Algebra 2. Oh, and I have to popcorn. I'll popcorn a Kiki.
Hello, everyone. Sorry if it's a little loud. Let me know. My name is Kiki Ramos. Same page with Jorgelina. I did graduate 2019. Bachelor of Arts in Math, concentration teaching, and then also did my student teaching there at Fullerton, same cohort. Marissa was actually my mentor. Is that what we were called? Sorry, like mentor, mentee that year. So we all know each other. And I student taught at Santa Ana Unified at Santa Ana High School. And I actually got a position right after as a math and EL intervention teacher. I student taught geometry and algebra 1, and then math and EL intervention teacher for geometry and algebra 1 as well. And then now I'm at Fullerton Joint Union High School District at Fullerton Union High School, teaching algebra foundations 1 and then algebra 1. I don't know who's next. Sorry. Do I just?
And then I think, did we do Susie?
Yeah, I think it's just popcorn, so you just pick anyone. Hi, my name is Susie. I'm Susie Mesa. I'm this is my 9th year teaching in 2 different districts. I was 4 years in Placentia, Belinda, where I taught 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade math. Then I moved over to Anaheim Union, which is where I'm currently at, Brookhurst Junior High School. I've been there for 5 years now, so altogether 9 years. I got my bachelor's from Cal State Fullerton 2011 in math education, my credential in 2012, and then my master's in math education 2013. So just bam, 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 right back, right after the other. Currently, I'm teaching at Brookhurst. Like I said, I'm teaching 7th grade math, but I've taught from like 6th grade math, 7th grade, 8th grade, and then I've done like Migrant Student Leader Institutes over the summer where I taught statistics. Cool. And popcorn, Selma.
Hello, everybody. I'm Selma, and I'm the Smart Girls secretary. And I'm still an undergrad, so I'm in my 3rd year math major with teaching concentration. It's nice to meet you guys. How about Natalie?
Hi, my name is Natalie. So I'm just here to hear you all talk. Right now, I'm majoring in mathematics with the concentration in teaching, and I'm on my junior year. I guess Daisy. I don't think she's gone.
Hi, everybody. Same as Natalie. I'm still an undergrad, but I'm in my second year, and I'm a math major, concentrating in teaching mathematics. Yulia.
Hello, my name is Yulia. I'm math major, but I'm not sure yet who I want to be, and I'm kind of old student. I'm thinking 70%. I'm leaning toward teaching concentration, but I'm not sure. So when I see you guys all like, I have experience with teaching, that's like, wow. The minimum what I can do, I am an SI leader for Cal State Fullerton, but it's nothing comparison like your experience. And I already have a question for Susie Meza. So you got your credential first, and then you got your master, like, because you can compare. What teach you to be a good teacher? Credential or master?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know if we're gonna do questions yet or if we're still gonna do introductions, but
Yeah, let's save that one. And then, after introduction. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Okay, and if I have to choose someone, to be honest, I didn't pay attention who didn't run yet, and you guys all new for me. It's new names, new faces. I'm sure 16 of us, we didn't go, so there's someone left.
I can go next.
Perfect.
Okay, so my name is Jeanette Zambrano. I just got my degree at San Jose State. I haven't had any experience other than observation hours, and right now I'm currently doing my master's, but I'm trying to figure out if I still want to go like the college route or the teacher route. And then I don't know who else is left.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. My name's Evelyn. I'm a math major with a concentration in teaching. I'm currently a junior at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm excited to hear from you all. And I'm not sure who else is left.
Yeah, I can go next. I haven't yet. Okay, so my name is Tremuin, and I'm a sophomore. My major is mathematics, and my concentration is teaching. I haven't had a lot of teaching experience, but I had a chance to volunteer for an after-school program at BD Elementary School in Bonaparte. And nice to meet you guys. I think Tiffany, do you go? I'm not pretty sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Tiffany. I'm a math major with the concentration in teaching. I'm a second year, and right now I'm currently in the TMMT program, and I'm an associate. I had some teaching experience at the CSUF Center for Healthy Neighborhoods, and I do like private tutoring on the side. So yeah. Oh, I don't know who else didn't go.
Did we get everyone? Oh, we have Dr. Marzaki as well.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Alison Marzaki. I'm currently a faculty member in the math department at Cal State Fullerton. So I have some of my current students in the room, some of my former students in the room, super excited, maybe some future students in the room. So I'm excited to be here. I coordinate our single subject math credential program. So for those of you who want to become high school teachers, I used to be a high school teacher myself. I also have experience teaching middle school, and way back in the day, I was an assistant teacher for multiple subjects in first grade. So I have teaching experience from first grade through, current teachers getting their master's degree. So all the levels. I do have a little bit of a commercial. I'll put the information in the chat, but Yulia's question reminded me. I'm giving a talk with Dr. Soto for the SCTA club, so the Student California Teachers Association Club. Yulia and others, we're going to talk specifically about the transition from being a high school teacher to a college professor. So Dr. Soto and myself both used to be high school teachers. We're now college professors. We had slightly different paths for how we got there. So for those of you who are interested in that path, I'll put information about that session in the chat.
All right, I think that was everybody. If not, please interrupt me and let me know. I guess we have a few questions for the panel that we can get going. I think most of you said what level of math you guys are teaching right now. But if anyone wants to go in on the panel, or like Marissa, Susie, Lina, Kiki, or Dr. Marzaki, why did you guys choose math?
I'll go ahead.
Is it the question is for everyone or like for the specific people?
Oh yeah, for the next few, just for the panel that we have, we can ask them questions. So we have Marissa, Susie, Lina, Kiki, and Dr. Marzaki is our panel. So we're gonna, if we have questions, we can ask them because since they are now teachers and professors. So the first question we'll ask is, why did you choose math? And then you can always, anyone else that's in the room after we get through a few questions, feel free to ask any questions, okay?
So I don't think I have one specific reason. There was tons of reasons for me to choose math, but I remember having to prepare this question for my credential interview. It was one of those things that I really had to think about so that I can deliver a good, thoughtful, honest answer. And I think that the top one, thinking back on that interview, is that math really helped me assimilate. So I am a foreign student. I came to the US from Argentina speaking no English. So going through school was a little tough, especially as a child, not being able to speak the language, but math just felt so familiar. I wasn't necessarily a good math student, especially in Argentina in my native language, but when I came here, it just kind of helped me stand out. So I think it just really helped me want to understand the language. So the first year, math really helped me in that sense. It was just familiar. There was no real language attached to it. And so it helped me learn the language. And once I learned the language, I started learning the math vocabulary, and it just became this like amazing thing to make connections. As you get into tougher and tougher math, there was a lot of Spanish words that helped me with my math vocabulary. So I kind of felt like I was ahead of the game at all times. So it really helped me there. Then once I became a mom, just that whole being able to teach is what really drove me into math teaching. I already knew I had a love for math, and just like the parenting side of me really made me want to actually teach, to be able to sort of provide that parenting style with students. So just kind of offer them a safe space, just like I do for my own kids.
I'm on the same boat with Jorge, Lina. I also, I came from Mexico too when I was in like second grade. And I think I let myself be named Kiki because of that. Someone was just like, Kiki, and I'm like, here. I assumed that was my name. In Spanish, it's Kike. So I went along and stuck with Kiki. But math definitely, I stood out in math. I loved math, you know, up to high school. And I think like I struggled in college, and that's something that I didn't experience before. So like those connections, like I can make with my students now. So like they believe that we are so good at math, and that's why we majored in it, and then that's why we're teaching it, right? But you actually like, it's not like, how can I explain it? So I chose math because I was good at it, but when I struggled, I was like, no, I'm gonna persevere and I'm gonna get through it, and that's the way I'm gonna connect to my students, because I know a lot of students struggle with math, and I feel like sharing those experiences with your students definitely like helps you teach better. And then I was an avid tutor for a while. I think my whole career has been education. I started as an avid tutor. I became an after school tutor. I coaching, and then now I'm like doing it all together. So it all just builds up on top of each other. So yeah, there is like, no specific right answer. It's just like it just came, and then we were able to actually, teach to others.
Okay, so I'll go. I think I had a very similar experience to both. I did find that I felt comfortable with math very early on, and I think the spark really ignited early on in middle school. There's that one teacher that I think we can all like look back on and say, you know what, you really hooked me. You made a difference in my life. Not just, oh, I feel better about math, but I just feel better about myself, right? And so I think that's kind of like where it started. Then I started to get involved with more programs. I was also an avid tutor. I went back to my alma mater, and they always had me in the math tutoring groups. I was like, okay, good for me. And then from there, I just started getting involved with other tutoring programs. Like I did the Gear Up program for a while. I was working with Cal State Fullerton and several like tutoring programs. And so it all kind of just started to bloom all together. I don't think there was a point in my life where I said, I'm going to be a math teacher and that's it. It was just like, oh, this route is this, I like this route. I like this route. And the more that I traveled down that route, the more it just affirmed that I was making the right choice. Now being in my 9th year, like I can't imagine myself as anything but a math teacher. There have been times where I've decided to like maybe jump ship, maybe instead of middle school, I'll go to high school. Then from high school, I'm going to do something else. I'm actually currently teaching at Cal State Fullerton. I'm teaching the secondary ed course for students that are trying to be teachers or in their 2nd semester. And I love it. Like every year I just add something else. And it's so awesome to see all of those teacher candidates now kind of like blossoming and seeing their growth. So it's just the journey that just keeps traveling for me. But that's kind of like what led me and what's continuing to lead me in the math route.
I can go next. The reason I chose math, very similar to what Jorgelina said earlier, is that there's probably not one specific reason that I can point out, but I do think that one of the main reasons I decided to choose math, especially I love teaching middle school, is because I think that's when a lot of students get their their very strong opinion about how they feel about math. And it's some people love it, a lot of them don't, and I feel like I have a huge positive impact that I can make as an educator in that very early phase of algebra and geometry. One of the most rewarding things that I think math provides is that aha moment from students. Seeing them be able to make those connections in math is such a rewarding experience. And I don't know, I'm not very familiar with a lot of the other subjects, but at least for myself, when a student has that moment, I'm like, yes, like it feels so good. So I think that math has really provided me with a lot of relatable experiences, and I want to give that to my students as well. I think that's the reason why a lot of students don't like math, is because they have this perspective that it's boring or it's like really difficult and they have all these negative emotions tied to it. But if I can really extract that and provide, I put it in my bio, but I was like, I watch TikToks to make it relatable to the students. It's also for myself, but it's super fun to have those engaging conversations with students, especially 13-year-olds. They're going through a lot being 13. I would never want to do that again. So being there for that part of their life is super rewarding, especially in the math capacity as well. Yeah.
I'm always a little embarrassed to answer this question because I don't have like a beautiful romantic story about like why I chose math like all of you do. I was originally a biomedical engineering major and I hated writing lab reports, like hated it. I wanted to stab my brain out every time I had to write a lab report. And I didn't hate doing my math homework. I'm not going to say that I loved it, but I definitely didn't hate it. And one night it just dawned on me, like, wait a minute, I can just do this all the time and never have to write a lab report again. And so I changed my major to math. I think for me, it's really like I really love mentoring. Like that's like what really like fuels my passion in this career. Like I very strongly identify as a mentor. Like I feel like my role is to help my students to achieve their full potential. And yes, I teach math, but like the math part is almost like incidental. Like it almost takes like a back burner. It's just kind of like the vehicle through which like I have this amazing opportunity to like, you know, mentor others and like inspire them to greatness. And it's not that I don't love math. I love math. A lot of you have been in my class. Like I stupid love math. So I'm not gonna like say it's not that, but it almost could have been anything. But I just feel like so grateful that I have this fulfilling job where I could like make a difference every day. And like incidentally, it's through teaching math.
Nice. Oh gosh, hold on. Okay, I think that was everyone, right? Did everyone answer that question? Oh my gosh, sorry, my dogs. Okay, the next question I have for you guys.
My dog is looking out the window because your dog is barking.
So it was, what future advice would you give? Oh my gosh, I'm so. Sonali, can you do this? Thank you.
I think what advice do you have to future educators in mathematics? It also might be good to add in like advice for when you have to teach virtually too, because I'm assuming you've all done a little bit of both. So that would be super helpful too.
I'll just go through that one first last time. I think right now, because the majority of you that are here are still at Fullerton, still teaching. My number one advice is to take advantage of all the programs Fullerton has. I mean, it is so amazing. I heard somebody talking about the TMMT program. I was one of the actually first scholars. So when they brought it up, I was in the first 3 to receive the big grant. It basically paid for my entire credential. So apply for everything. They love us math majors. Since we're all girls here, the Miss program is fantastic. I taught it 2 years in a row. It's over the summer. It's good pay. It's tons of experience. The first time that I taught it over the summer was in the middle of my credential program. And then I went through to do my second semester, which is when you fully take over your classroom. And I just felt so much more confident being up there teaching after having had that experience in the Miss program. So Fullerton offers you all kinds of avenues to get that experience. And I just say, take them all. You are going to be incredibly busy during the credential program. So might as well get used to being busy beforehand, because you're not going to be able to escape that. So take advantage, especially of all those positions that pay you for it. It just helps you build that confidence. When it comes to virtual teaching, I think try to make connections with students. It is so incredibly important. It is a little bit, I think, maybe not everyone agrees, but I think it's a little bit tougher to make those connections. But it is so worth it. Now at my school, we're now hybrid. And I think that being able to, like the fact that I took the time to get to know them ahead of time, now that they're here in person, I could just tell that they appreciate it so much more. They see that I know them by name, even though some of them I never even saw their face because they didn't have their cameras on. But I took a chance at taking a look at all those pictures that show up on my roll sheet so that when they walked in, I knew who they were. And I just think that that effort that you put into your students really goes a long way. It's not just about teaching math, it's really just getting to know them, because they're all little tiny human beings that just deserve to be cared for in so many other aspects of their life. Right now is all about being flexible and giving them grace, just like we want some, because it's really tough on us as well. Yeah, that's all I have.
I can go next. So my advice for future math teachers, it's kind of hard, I feel like, to give advice, especially in this day and age with like the online learning and everything. I am in no way an like super experienced math teacher, and like I do not have all this wisdom to like provide you, but I think that sticking through with it and like being here at this panel, watching these videos and really trying to engage with other math teachers is really important. Take everything that Jorge said and probably what all these other people are going to say and like and run with it. Don't look back and just try to keep learning. I think that as an educator, I really appreciate learning from other mentors. And I think what makes a great teacher is being a great student, being able to know what that looks like. And so I still observe other teachers at my school. I'm still in contact with my mentor teacher from my credential program. I had a really good relationship with him. So I think that's one piece of advice that I can give, especially with what's going on right now. I wrote 3 things down, but I said, keep an open mind. Things for me at my school district are changing every day. And I'm sure other teachers here can say the same thing. Things are changing every day. So you have to be flexible to change and you have to keep an open mind. And then the last thing is being a team player. I think that being huge on collaboration goes a really long way when you are looking for a job. That's, I think, what got me my job at the school that I work at is just my, I don't know, an easygoing like personality, but also just I knew what I wanted. And also I was like, yeah, like let's talk about assessments and let's work together. And being young and on this staff, I'm able to provide a lot to my staff team by being super into the online learning and giving them all the resources and tools. So now they can't get rid of me because I have set footing here as the technology integration person. So it's great. Always be on the lookout for different tech, different online platforms, and just building that portion of your resume, because obviously it is not going away, and it's going to make you a super like glittery candidate in the future. So yeah.
I can jump in because my advice is similar to Marissa's actually. I was going to advise that when you get your first teaching job, try to find like the good, happy, passionate people and like other teachers and spend your time with them. Because, you know, teaching is tough and stuff gets thrown at you all the time. And, you know, when you're told like 2 weeks before the school year starts that you're teaching online and you were prepared to teach face to face, like that's not a fun situation for anyone. But there's going to be the people who react to that and they're like, okay, let's do the best for our students. Like, let's try hard, you know, let's do our best, everyone. And then there's going to be the people who are just really like cranky and negative and toxic about it. And it's contagious. Like it's very contagious. It's very toxic. So like you want to be very like deliberate in putting yourself in spaces with the people who kind of share your vision and care about the students and want to work hard. Hopefully you'll end up in a school where there are other people like that. But if not, or even if so, like Marissa was saying, like go to conferences, go to professional development. Like every year I go to the CMC conference in Palm Springs and like I leave that conference like feeling like a superhero. Like I'm just like, I'm gonna be the best teacher ever. Like I'm just so motivated because you're just surrounded by that like really good positive energy. So my advice is like find that, put yourself in those spaces because it's a tough gig, it's a tough career, and like and you need a tribe. So like you have to find your people.
Yeah, and just to kind of like piggyback off those, right? Like they were just exciting me because that's I think what I if I had one regret, I guess, my first year teaching, you know, you go in with this fear of like, oh my gosh, what do I say? I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, and it's like no, like channel your inner Marissa, I guess. I hope that you guys feel like you don't have to shy away from speaking your truth or sharing your views or your thoughts. Because I think that's what education needs, right? Education is just ever changing now more than ever. And so we need new voices to come in with fresh ideas and new technology and really just immerse us with that, because some of us have been teaching for so many years that you almost get into this weird routine where it's like, yeah, I know like the back of my hand, but it's like, have you ever looked at the other hand? You know, like I'm trying to think of something else. So yeah, just don't feel like you have to shy away, especially on your first year, because we really need that energy. We really need all of that new knowledge that you're bringing in. In terms of conferences, absolutely. Like CMC, I think my first year teaching, I volunteered. My second year teaching, one of my professors was like, hey, do you want to like co-speak with me? And I feel like I've been co-speaking ever since. I just did our session. We're up on CMC, a little plug for me and Lacey Knight. We did one on social justice. So we got to share a couple of the lessons we've done. And yeah, you know, find that happy bubble, like Dr. Marzaki was saying. That happy bubble is really going to drive you your first year. You're either going to have a really miserable year because, you know, you're around people who are already kind of feeling that negativity, or you're just going to flourish because all that positivity, all of that support that you're feeling around you. And then last is, you know, just always be a lifelong learner, right? I've been teaching for 9 years, but that doesn't mean I stop. I like every year I just, okay, what's the newest thing? What's the most up-to-date thing, especially in the virtual space? I have been so amazed by some of my teachers. A lot of them did get into this little bubble of like, I'm so scared, I don't want to try anything. And now I have some of them sending me videos of, hey, did you find out this really cool tool? I was like, what? You've been teaching for 20 years. You've never wanted to try anything different. But now that I'm seeing them do it, it's just so awesome. So I definitely think this virtual world has changed people for the better. We're just going to come back into the classroom with so many different tools that we're going to be like, which one do I use? I've learned so much in this space. So yeah, just latch on to everything and use it to your best abilities.
Well, everyone pretty much said everything. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, just feel like learn. You never stop learning as a teacher, from your, you know, colleagues, from your cohort, from your mentors, from anyone. Just always have those connections. I guess networking is really important, but you have to put yourself out there in order for that to work, right? I put myself out there in tutoring, then I got another tutoring gig. Then I actually co-taught with Dr. Juke and Dr. Marzaki. I spoke with Dr. Marzaki at a CMC. I worked for Dr. Pagni in the MIS program, you know, starting as a tutor, and then I co-taught with Jorge Lina. Jorge Lina is amazing. We like, you know, everything that she like taught me, I use, you know, like you're always gonna be using other people's things. It's just putting yourself out there. Just don't be afraid. Go for those scholarships that you think you might not even get. Don't stop because of your GPA. That kind of pushed. I almost didn't apply to the credential program because I was like, oh, I'm barely at that, you know, GPA. I don't know, like, are they gonna like me? You know, like things like that. Don't get in your head. Just do it. Push yourself to, you know, do better. Do you really want to teach? I want to be a mentor. I think I started as a mentor as well, but then math, you know, came, and I love my kids. Like, I'm coaching, you know, I'm teaching, I'm doing everything to be involved in these students' lives, in order for them to see that support outside of their home. Because sometimes, you know, kids don't have that support. But yeah, just keep learning, put yourself out there, and don't hold yourself back. I think you're your worst enemy. So yeah, I would no, sorry. Oops, I just saw the chat. I'll answer right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And everything else that everyone said put together.
I'm kind of just like blasting the chat right now with, as people are like mentioning scholarship opportunities and like teaching opportunities. And I think some new people came in, so I might just like copy and paste everything again in case people missed it. But I'm trying to keep up when someone mentions an opportunity to put a link in the chat.
We appreciate it.
I was just going to mention the Misti Scholarship.
I just put it there, yeah.
I'm also the student assistant for Misti. So Misti is for like secondary education in science or math. So they have lots of money to give future teachers in secondary education. So yes, Dr. Marzaki sent that scholarship in, and the deadline's November 1st, but it's a super easy application. I highly recommend doing it. Like, right after this meeting. It takes like 10 minutes, 20 max. But not only Misti, but I know a lot of you guys mentioned tutoring. The Student Success Center at NSM is also taking tutors for math, so I will send that in. Yeah, I'll send that in this chat, and then also in our next like Smart Girls email, we'll try and send out all of the information on that too. So sorry, my like Google speaker started yelling at me. But yeah, we'll send that on the new email. So if you're not on the email list, just let us know. We can add you, and so we'll give all the same information out again, so that you all have it. But just wanted to let you all know.
Thank you. I think that was all like the questions that we had for them, but if anyone, we're going to open up the floor to anyone to ask any questions that you guys want answered, or you need anything for the panelists. I think, is she still here?
I think Susie had a question from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
From early on.
I think she left, but I mean, I don't see in the chat. I think the question was, which one prepared me more for teaching? Was it my credential program, which I did through Cal State Fullerton? There you are, Julia. Was it my credential program, or was it my master's program, which I did both through Cal State Fullerton? And I'd say they both gave me just very unique experiences. I needed my teaching credential program in order to prepare me for like, what is teaching, you know? It was so great to have that support. My co-teacher, you know, I went on to present a couple things with him. I still am in contact with him. I'm actually part of the Atmala fellowship program, which is Advancing Teachers in Mathematics and Learning for All, if I got that right. And that's a 5-year commitment we've done. In that time, I've worked with him again. I got nationally board certified just last year. So that was kind of like a big deal for me, just continue growing professionally. So I don't think I would have been able to be where I'm at had I not had that credential program and that experience. And then my master's program that kind of, you know, your first year teaching, you're going to go through what's called your BITSA or your induction, you know, it just varies by district. And so that's kind of like this growth journal that you have to do, right? And in those 2 years, you learn a lot about yourself and how to assess your students and how to support them. And I feel all those things that BITSA or induction is now was asking me to do, I was doing in my master's program. So it was almost like I was double dipping into both of them. Yes, it was a lot of work. Yes, there was a lot of tireless nights, especially because it was like my first year teaching and I'm doing a master's program and I have to do induction and life, you know? So would I recommend it? I absolutely would, right? Because it's one of those, if you don't do it early on, you're going to kind of get lost in this other loop. So I'm so glad I did it the way I did. But again, both just provided such unique experiences. And I think I value both in a very different way. So I needed both to be where I'm at right now.
How much would you lose if you didn't do the credential, but you completed your master? What would be different in your teaching style?
I mean, I wouldn't be a teacher. I would need the credential, right? In order to be a teacher. So there's that. How much would I lose? It's just, it's that first year of having support, you know, it's almost like that crutch. I really think everyone needs to go in it with that mentality of, you feel like you have so much experience, right? Like I was a tutor and I was this and I was that. I of course know how to teach. And then they put you in a classroom by yourself and you realize, oh, there's so much more to teaching than just that, right? There's the classroom management, like how are you going to grow professionally? How are you going to support students who are coming to you with such like, it's such difficult stories, right? That they're sharing with you. And you're like, I wanted to just teach math, right? Being a teacher is more than just teaching a subject. And so I think that first year credential program gave me that view of everything. It was how to be a good math teacher, how to be a good mentor, how to be a good support, how to be a good collaborator with other people. So I think that's, if you want to go into education, that credential is vital. It's necessary. You can't have it without that. If you're looking to go into like college work, right, then I could see why you would bypass the credential. So I don't know if Dr. Marzaki wants to speak a little more to the college route, right? I could see why you would not do the credential if you're going the college route.
Yeah, so with the master's degree, you could teach at the community college level, but you couldn't teach at the K-12 level unless you have the credential. And then most four-year colleges and universities require a PhD. So it would just be a different route for schooling. But I taught first and then went for my PhD after having taught high school for 5 years. And, you know, I teach future teachers here at Cal State Fullerton. So I think it's really valuable that I had that experience to draw upon. I've actually like been in the classroom, I've done the job. Technically, I could have gotten this job here at Cal State Fullerton without having taught high school first. But yeah, I just think it just makes it so much more rich that I had that experience to draw from. And like, I've been through a credential and now, you know, I'm running a credential program. So like, I know what it's like from the student end.
Do we have any more questions from anyone?
Oh yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So how can I rewatch this again? Because like there's some information in the chat that I wanted to save, but I don't know how to like rewatch it.
We're recording it, so we're gonna send it out in our email, and then we'll also have like all the information from the chat in the email as well.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to put your email, do you get the Smart Girls emails?
Yes, I got the email too, that we have a meeting today, so I think that should be fine.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely. If you want to put your email in there in the chat, just in case we make sure you're on our list, we can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll also probably put it on our Instagram, so if you don't like get the emails or it might get lost in your inbox, you can always check that too. And it'll be there as like hopefully one of those live TV things. I'm not hip enough to know exactly what it's called, but it's something like that.
I think that's what it's called, yeah.
Okay, good.
I do have a question. Mine is more like GPA, like Kiki, you were saying, like, don't get discouraged with like your GPA. Like I'm on like the lower end, and like, I guess this is giving me a little like pep talk, but like, do you have any advice for like me? I guess my GPA is not as great. And I mean, my advice I have for myself is don't compare, but I mean, you always get lost in comparison with like your peers and your students, like, oh, I got this. So if you have any advice on like GPA and like, yeah, I guess.
Well, I feel like you're already, you know, starting. So like, give yourself a pep talk, be like, it's not just that, like, they don't just look at numbers, right? Yeah, we're math, we look at numbers, but they look at how you are, there's a part of the interview, like there is an interview. So if you have this experience, if you know that you're a facilitator, if you know how to be in front of a board, how to like make sure that you're looking at everybody, you're not just focusing on one specific it's not just all GPA. There's, you know, like you're going to write about yourself, why you became a teacher. You're going to show that you're passionate and you're able to teach. And it was just, I guess, surrounding yourself too with other people. Again, don't compare yourself. You just said that. But also talking with Dr. Marzaki helped, talking with Dr. Drukin, she was my advisor, and just talking with different professors. Dr. Pogny, I think he just like gave me a scholarship because I'm from Santa Ana. And then that's how we became, you know, like that's how we got into contact. And then he reached out also for the Miss program. Like people see, you know, that path that you're taking and they want to be a part of it and they want to help you out. So also you take that initiative as well and speak with others that way too. But yeah, GPA wise, don't let it discourage you. That's all I can say, because that is just a number. Mm-hmm.
It is, and I don't know if they've put it on the chat yet what that minimum GPA is, because I think someone asked. Dr. Marzaki, if I say too much, pull me back, all right? Because I've been part of the panels, right? So I've interviewed folks like you that are trying to go into the credential program. I've specifically done the foundational level mathematics interviews. So if you're looking to go into like middle school, We've had a few like early high school, sometimes we'll recommend them to high school, or sometimes high school recommends to middle school and vice versa. But you know, in that panel, you're right, we're not looking at your GPA. That's probably like one of the last things we look at. You do need to have a minimum GPA to even apply though, right? So before we can even look at your application, there needs to be a minimum. I think it's 2.67, correct me if I'm wrong, 2.75, something like that, 2.67. But with that, we really look to see how you come in and one, carry yourself, the experience you have. And then we had this like mini lesson you have to do where it's like, okay, teach us something algebra, geometry related, and talk to us about like what the driving force beyond this lesson is. And we learned so much from you, right? Like it's totally normal to come in a little nervous. A lot of them like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm just so nervous. Like, it's okay, take a breath, like try again. Like that's not what we're grading you on or judging you on, but we are looking to see how are they delivering this lesson? Are they going more direct instruction, which was kind of the traditional way that, many years back, this is what you might have experienced? Or are they moving towards this Common Core era, which is, exploration based, getting your students to figure things out on their own, making it more student centered, right? So if you're just going to come into the interview and just talk to us about something instead of involving us in the lesson, that's kind of going to be the big driving force. Like, hey, are they really ready to go and teach all these students, or are they just, they want to be someone who delivers a beautiful lecture? There's definitely a difference. So familiarize yourself with what Common Core teaching is all about now. And if that means, visiting a classroom or, going to go see a teacher, then do that, right? Just so that you can get a little bit more comfortable with what's this Common Core I keep hearing about.
Yeah, I wanted to add on top of that I think all of you being a part of Cal State Fullerton's bachelor's program really does provide you a lot of guidance going into the interview. I feel like I was fairly prepared going into the interview because I had mentors like Dr. Marzaki before going in. And so I could take what she said and if you know Dr. Ichinose, like what she said as well, and then applying that into my interview was super helpful. I also did not have a high GPA. I am currently in the process, or like in the, in the spring semester, I have to retake some courses because I will be starting them. My goal is to start the master's program in the fall of 2021. So I have to retake some classes because my GPA is not good enough for the minimum GPA to get into the master's program. But like Kiki said, is that you can't let your GPA discourage you from even attempting to apply or whatever it may be, because it's just a number. And as math people, we all know it's like it averages out. So you just retake a course and do better, and you can't let it discourage you. So at least that's my mindset going into applying to the master's program this upcoming year. So that's advice I'd give to anybody with a lower GPA. But passion takes you so far, and it takes you super far as a teacher. Your students see it too, and that's why I think I was just interviewed. I'm not interviewing, but I think that's why what they saw in people like me, Kike, and all the people on the panel. Yeah.
I think I want to add just a little bit to that because I was on the other end of that. I focus so much on my GPA, and I think like anybody that knows me, like Kike, on a personal level, like that was my main thing. And I remember my advisor was actually Dr. Glesser. And I remember just talking to him about, I'm like, I am just so nervous about this interview coming up. And then he's like, I was like, because I don't want to have like a B in this class. And he's just like laughing. And he told me, he's like, honestly, he's like, you can have the best GPA and be a complete robot and they're not going to like you. It's your GPA is secondary. You have to be able to show. And then that kind of stressed me out a little bit more because I was like, oh my God, this whole time I thought it was all about this and now I have to go do all this. And then that's when he directed me to go talk to Dr. Pani about, maybe the MIST program or doing something different to get my feet wet and that experience in teaching. So that just goes back to like the first thing that we talked about. And it's just applying and getting all of that experience because that's going to take you the furthest than really just your GPA. Yeah, there's the minimum to apply, but in the long run, it's really, the least important part of all of it.
Georgelina, I have a question for you more. Can I ask? Yeah. Okay. It's obvious to be a teacher. It's like to be a little bit an artist. You giving mini performance every time, and it's good that you're able to, like, I would say maybe a little bit to show off yourself. But how about the language barrier? So, do you guys have other teachers who are not native speakers? And I know you mentioned that you're native speakers, but your English is perfect. So I'm not considering you like a foreigner. But do you still have those teachers who speaks not too clear with a heavy accent and knowing that teenage age, they would prefer to accept someone without accent? So this should I maybe concentrate somewhere like in a higher age, or there's still a possibility for teenagers to accept a teacher with the heavy accent?
I can't really speak when it comes to them like choose like when you're gonna get hired for them choosing somebody with an accent or not. I think the reason why I worked so hard to get I worked really hard to get rid of my accent, but because I was embarrassed as a kid. And now every time that it comes out, because I still do have it and it comes out, I am just so incredibly proud of it. And I just wish that I wouldn't have been so hard on myself to get rid of this accent that really makes me who I am. And in the classroom, I have a lot, as an Algebra 2 teacher, I have a lot of the kids. I'm the only Algebra 2 teacher on campus, really the only math teacher on campus that speaks Spanish in the campus where I'm at. So I get all of those kids that don't speak the language at all, and I'm able to make all these connections. And sometimes the very first connection comes out when my accent creeps out, because then they finally realize, especially if they're put into my class a little late, that I speak the language that they do or a different language. And I just think that you can draw so much from your accent. It makes you who you are. So again, it's not that I regret getting rid of it, but I got rid of it because of a negative thing that I just sort of wish that I would have just let it go naturally. It's just such a beautiful thing for them to see that you speak 2 languages and you can make so many more connections with that.
Thank you. All right, do we have any more questions?
I guess, sorry, I just want to add to that. Just think of it as an asset. I also, I speak Spanish, but I'm not like fluent. Like Lina speaks beautiful Spanish. I love it when she speaks Spanish. But when I do it, right, I may not be saying it properly or anything like that. But the students know that I'm trying, you know. I can learn from you. If you're learning from me, I can definitely learn from you. So just be you're a student to your students. They like that relationship, that, oh, wow, like she actually wants to learn from me, you know, she's not just my teacher. So sometimes like you'll get those students that are actually interested, like, oh, like, where are you from? Like, oh, what language is that? You know, like they want to be able to speak with you and have just a different type of relationship, not just a student teacher one. So yeah.
I know I'm not like a teacher, but from a student perspective, I did like have a lot of teachers with accents in middle school and high school. And although it wasn't an accent that like I was used to, it did make me feel more comfortable because I knew they probably understood coming from a different culture and a different background. So that's just from like a student perspective, if you're ever worried about like students feeling that way. But yeah.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Okay. Well, thank you for all of our panelists. I really enjoyed this. It literally makes me feel a lot confident. I'm a lot more confident with like the whole GPA thing, because that was like bumming me out for the longest. I do have a question. Lina, you have children, right? You said, and you did the credential program while, I mean, I'm assuming. I have a little one, so he's 5. And like, what's your advice? I mean, also for everyone else, did you guys work while you did the credential? Like, how did you balance? Because I know the credential program is a lot of work. What if, I mean, I have to work being a single mom and having him. So what's your advice with like juggling that all during the credential program?
I think for me, I do have a really good support system at home. I was lucky enough that my husband was able to take care of not the kids, but like the financial side of it, so that I could go to school and not really focus on that, because he also counted on me bringing in all these scholarships. So I brought out in all kinds of stuff. I applied for everything and I took advantage of every single opportunity, like the Miss program. So I looked for ways to bring in income without necessarily having to take on a full-time job, because I really would not have been able to do that during the credential program. Not that it can't be done. I just, for me, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And I have 2 little ones. But again, the support system at home, they did, my mom and my dad helped me with the kids while I was student teaching. And then it was just doing homework. My daughter's 4, so she was 3 during the credential program, and my son's 13, so he's a lot older. So it was more of like, okay, you watch her for a little while, or here's a video to watch. I mean, unfortunately, it was just, I know that we don't want our kids stuck on an iPad or whatever all day, but if I needed to get a lesson plan typed up and completed, then here's the iPad, watch this, 20-minute video while I get this done real quick. So I just kind of pulled from everything, but I brought my kids into everything that I did when it had to do with school, because I feel like that is also a really, really good thing for them to witness, like how hard I was working, even though I had them. Like they weren't, this like burden. They were there and they saw me through the entire thing. And like my son will still speak. He's a lot older, so he saw me, but he'll still speak on how proud he is of the fact that I did all this. And he works so hard. And I like to take credit in that, because he saw how hard I worked. So.
Yeah, and the program is really understanding, right? Jorgelina brought her son, handsome son, to class a couple of times, and like, it's just, the program is really amazing, and understanding everything that you're going through. Not only did they also go through it, but they know it is an intense, rigorous credential program. And I did work for the beginning of it, and then I stopped working because it was so demanding. And then I did get a chance to substitute while I was in the program, but in the end, it was not the best choice for me. And again, it comes to like the program being so understanding, and I ended up just student teaching. Just like, if I could go back, I would just stick to just student teaching without working, if that's a possibility. Obviously, sometimes it's not for others, but I know tutoring gigs are flexible. So get started now and try to get into a school district, try to get yourself out there, or even private tutoring is amazing as well. You create your own schedule.
Yeah, I want to add on to what Kiki said about private tutoring. That's basically all I did. I was very lucky with the situation that I was in, being able to like live at home still, and being young and things like that. But it's super rigorous. The credential is only a year long. If you go to like Cal State Long Beach, it's a year and a half long because of the way that they do it. So what you're getting out of this, though, is really just diving in head first into what teaching is. And you can't find that really, I mean, like, I don't know, but like, I don't think you could really find that anywhere else. They really push your limits, but like Kiki said, they're pretty understanding too. They just want to the people involved, like Dr. Marzaki and Professor Harrington, like they just want to see you succeed. And that's the main thing. I mean, the fact that you're able to be accepted into the credential program is a feat in itself, and graduate with a bachelor's in math is also a feat in itself. So, so they just want to see you succeed in that way. But when I was student teaching at Norwalk High School, I was able to also get the job as the SAT math teacher there after school. So they paid me like sub fees, but also that was just another way to add that to my resume and have better connections, better networking with that staff at Norwalk High School. So they've asked me to apply there recently as well to get back into high school. I love it at middle school, but I know that option is always there for me as well. So always be looking for any opportunities, especially the paid ones. So like Marina said, I commend anybody that works and does a credential at the same time. It's super rigorous, but you know, it's only a year long and it's very rewarding at the end of it. My cohort, we did pretty well with all finding a job right after our finishing our credential. So it was all worth it in the end, I think, for all of us.
Yes, I'm glad. I'm also glad that you brought up subbing. When you're in the credential program, you're allowed to sub because we teach 3 periods, right? But I found like the best part of networking, like Kiki said, is important. I found that the best way to network was for me to be there all 6 periods. Like, I mean, I went because I was unlucky enough to like kind of have like split periods that I was teaching. So they weren't back to back. So I was just there anyway. I would get there first period, which I didn't teach, and then I would teach, and then I would stay till the end. But I was always available for those teachers that have last minute things. So you can pop in and sub on the periods that you're not teaching and you get paid for that. And then I also subbed for my master teacher anytime that she was absent or that she couldn't be there. So it adds up. I mean, it was a couple of $100 every month that was consistent because I knew that at some point I created this relationship with the lady in the front office, and she knew I was going to be sitting in that room working on my lesson plans. So if she needed a last minute sub for those periods, I was there, and it was always me first that she called, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. So then I was just doing that. Again, it's just like always constantly looking for ways to bring in income without necessarily having to take that job. It really helped me be able to focus on my family too.
Thank you. It definitely helps me. I'm like, okay, I can do this now. Yeah. Well, if we don't have any more questions,
I think we have a question in the chat for scholarship opportunities for U.S. international students. I don't know if any of you guys have an answer to this question.
Maybe Dr. Pani, since he coordinates that, right? He's part of the coordinator for TMMT.
the Misti Scholarship. So you can definitely, he said, apply for the Misti Scholarship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I should know.
I will
And
check it out. Thank you.
Sonali probably knows better, but I believe you can get the Misti Scholarship twice, I believe, because you can apply for it as an undergrad, and then there's like a separate category once you're a credential student. So you definitely want to apply for it while you're still an undergrad, and then you can apply again. Is that right?
You can apply every semester as long as you're enrolled like the following one. So, and it's $1,000. So that's $1,000 every semester that you're here. Yeah. So, and then it goes into your credentials as well. So, yeah, you can get a lot out of that scholarship.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will check that out. Thank you.
And then adding to the question about employment and making money during the credential program and all that, I would also like encourage you to really hustle in the summer. So like, the credential program's coming up, and, work for Project Miss, and like, just like pick up as many different opportunities. We're always getting emails as professors about like summer camps that are looking for people, and this like STEM camp for girls. And like, there's just I think, tons of ways to like bring in some money over the summer and then just like bank that money so it'll help you like last through the year.
Good to know. Project Miss. I never even heard of that program until tonight, so that's definitely going to look into that.
Dr. Marzaki, I remember I did the prize internship. Is that something that's every summer too? That's a good one.
Yeah, there's 2 different prize internships. Did you do the one with like this orange schools, the middle schools in orange?
I think it was like elementary and middle in orange. It was super fun. It was a 4 month. It was amazing.
Super fun. I'm not sure how COVID has impacted that one or not, but I believe Dr. Drukin is the contact for that internship. And then there's another prize internship, which puts math science majors in kind of like STEM type summer camps. And like they seem really cool. Like there's one at the Discovery Cube and I forget where else, but it's like all like the cool sciencey places like around Southern California. So like that could be your summer job also.
Oh, nice.
And these are all resume boosters too. And it gives you that teaching experience and working with kids. So it's just like a win-win-win.
I just remember the price one. I did it the summer during my student teaching. And I also did Miss because they just happened to not fall together. So I did both. And then in the price internship, not only did we get to actually teach, it was really little kids. So I got that experience with like the younger elementary kids, but then we got to keep all of the materials that they bought. So not only did I get paid for that month, I also left with all kinds of manipulatives and pens and what I have a class set of whiteboards. Like we just got to keep everything that we used in our class and it was amazing.
Oh, that's really cool.
All of the like for the prize internship, that's also on the Misti website, like the scholarship and stipend website. And then there's also the Math and Science Ambassador Program, where you like, it's basically like a tutoring program kind of, which is also on that site. There are a lot of tutoring and internship opportunities on that. But here, let me find it. Because so the application for the specific Misti Scholarship is in the chat, but I can send you the link straight to the scholarship and stipend page.
Something I'm really proud of at just Cal State Fullerton and the math department in general is I think we're especially good at getting money into the pockets of our students, like more than a lot of other universities. So like that's kind of a theme, I think, throughout this whole meeting is everyone's just been naming all these different ways to get like scholarships or employment and things like that. So like if you're looking for it and if you're willing to like work and get the job experience and all that, like we can connect you, like we have these opportunities for you.
I don't know if it's being done anymore, but I heard someone was taking 303B, and then 303A, 403B, and A. I got a scholarship for taking 3 out of those 4 courses by getting like a B and above, I believe, in each of them. And yeah, I think it was like $1,500 for just taking those math courses that really, really benefited me in the end, because high school kids actually, their fundamentals in math are not that great. So the more, you learn about these fundamentals and using those manipulatives, using all these different things in your own classroom in high school, the kids love it. They just don't get that in, I don't know if in elementary and middle school for some reason, but if you can just, add them to it's literally in your tool. I believe Dr. Drukin would say that your math toolkit or something, you just like put it in there, always have it in the back of your, your pocket. So look into that. Taking 3 out of those 4 courses.
Yeah, that's why I was taking them. I was like, oh, I could do that. Definitely. It's like hard to take so many upper division math courses in one semester with like working and all that. So I'm like, this is my little fun class kind of thing. But yeah, thank you.
There are also a lot of scholarships in just the College of Ed. So I also recommend looking there. Like you don't have to stick in the math like scholarship realm. They have a lot. I was very shocked by how much there's a lot of money for you guys. I'm jealous, but yeah, I can send that in the chat too. A lot of this information, like even if you just Google like CSUF, like education scholarships, you will get so much information, and they're all really easy applications. Like at first, like a lot of the determinant is like how long it takes to apply or all the like statements you have to make. And it's really a lot of them, if you have to make a statement, it's almost the same thing every time. So a lot of it's the same. But we will send all of that information in like our next email, or even just the flyers on our Instagram and stuff. So
Yeah, I just posted a flyer for the SIM scholarship, which is special interest in math. I was laughing as Kiki was talking about it because I coordinate that scholarship. I'm like advertising everyone else's and I forgot about my own. But yeah, if you just take, like Kiki said, 3 of the 4 math classes for future teachers, 303A, B, 403A, B. If you take 3 out of 4 of those, get a B or better, you fill out a really quick form and you get $1,500. And they're really cool classes.
Definitely good to know. Alrighty, well, I appreciate you all for coming and speaking with us. I definitely gained a lot out of this. I hope everyone else did as well. I guess since there's nothing else, we will end this little panel. Again, I definitely appreciate you guys taking out your time to come talk with us.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I'll make sure to send out an email towards the end of the week with all the information we covered in this panel. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Smart Girls, for putting it on. I have my shirt on.
Thank you.
Oh, yay.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great
Thank
night.
you so much.
All right. I'm going to end this or stop the recording.
I know